Ever wondered where the spooky and exciting tradition of Halloween originated? Strap in as we embark on a journey to unravel the mysterious origins of this beloved holiday. Our tale begins more than 2,000 years ago with the ancient Celts, who resided in what is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France. As the harvest season culminated, they celebrated a festival called Samhain, pronounced as Samhain, marking the end of summer and the onset of the dark, chilly winter, a time associated with human death. Samhain, traditionally celebrated from October 31st to November 1st, was more than a mere seasonal transition. The Celts believed that the boundary separating the world of the living and the dead blurred during this time. It was thought that the ghosts of the deceased returned to Earth, causing trouble and damaging crops. But on the flip side, their presence also made it easier for Celtic priests, or druids, to predict the future, a source of comfort and direction in a world without the conveniences of modern science and technology. Bonfires played a pivotal role in the Samhain celebrations. The Celts would gather around these sacred bonfires, burning crops and animals as sacrifices to Celtic deities. During this communal gathering, they wore costumes typically consisting of animal heads and skins, and attempted to foretell each other's fortunes. As intriguing as it sounds, this was just the beginning. The evolution of Halloween is a fascinating journey. From an ancient Celtic festival to a global phenomenon, Halloween has morphed and adapted, reflecting the cultures and beliefs of each era it has passed through. Stay tuned as we continue to unravel the captivating transformation of this annual tradition that has bewitched the hearts of millions around the world. As the Roman Empire conquered the Celtic lands, Halloween began to take a new shape. The Romans, known for their flair for festivals and celebrations, had a significant influence on Halloween as we know it today. The Celts celebrated Samhain, marking the end of the harvest season and the beginning of winter. As the Romans invaded Celtic territories, they brought with them their own festivals, which began to merge with Samhain. Two of these, in particular, played an important role in shaping Halloween's transformation: Feralia and a day dedicated to Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. Feralia was a day in late October when the Romans traditionally commemorated the passing of the dead. The festival was a public one, with families gathering to give offerings to the deceased in the form of food and other goods. The merging of Feralia with Samhain brought a more explicit emphasis on the theme of death and the spirit world to the Celtic festival. The Romans also had a day to honor Pomona, the goddess of fruit and trees. Now you may wonder, what does a goddess of fruit have to do with Halloween? Well, the symbol of Pomona is the apple, and this association might have been the origin of a very popular Halloween tradition, bobbing for apples. Yes, that's right. That fun game you played at Halloween parties, where apples are placed in a tub or a large basin of water and you have to catch one using only your teeth. That's likely a legacy of the Roman influence on Halloween. The tradition of bobbing for apples was a way of honoring Pomona and her gifts of harvest. These Roman festivals not only merged with Samhain but also reshaped it, introducing new elements and traditions that have endured over time. So, the next time you bob for apples at a Halloween party, remember you're partaking in a tradition that goes back centuries. It's a fascinating reminder of how Halloween, a festival we celebrate today with costumes and candy, has evolved over the centuries, influenced by various cultures and traditions. When Christianity spread throughout the Roman Empire, Halloween got a new twist. As the Roman Empire adopted Christianity, the Church sought to replace pagan celebrations like Samhain with Christian-themed observances. This led to the establishment of All Hallows' Eve on October 31st, a precursor to our modern Halloween. All Hallows' Eve was a day dedicated to honoring the saints and martyrs of Christianity. The Church would hold feasts and vigils, and believers would pray for the souls of the departed. However, the Church couldn't completely eliminate the pagan influences that had been deeply ingrained in these celebrations. Elements of Samhain, such as the belief in the thinning of the veil between the living and the dead, persisted and were absorbed into the new celebration. In a unique blend of the old and the new, many traditions that we associate with Halloween today began to take shape. Dressing up in costumes, for instance, has its roots in the ancient Samhain practice of wearing animal skins to ward off evil spirits. The Church transformed this tradition into a practice where people dressed as saints, angels, and devils. The tradition of trick-or-treating also has an interesting evolution. It began with a practice called souling, where the poor would visit homes and offer prayers for the house's deceased in exchange for soul cakes. a type of pastry. This practice of going door to door, offering a service in exchange for food, morphed over time into the trick-or-treating we know today. As All Hallows Eve evolved, it became a time of community gatherings, celebrations, and of course, a touch of mischief. It was a night where the ordinary rules were turned upside down, and the veil between the sacred and the profane was blurred. Even as Halloween took on a Christian identity, it never lost its touch of the macabre. The church's attempt to Christianize the holiday may have changed the name and added new elements, but the ancient beliefs and traditions of Samhain continued to shape the celebration in profound ways. It's this blend of the sacred and the spooky that makes Halloween the unique holiday we know and love today. Halloween, like many traditions, found a new home when it crossed the Atlantic to America. This journey began in the 19th century when waves of immigrants from Ireland and Scotland set sail for the New World, carrying with them their customs and traditions, including the celebration of Halloween. But why, you might ask, did the Irish and Scottish choose to bring Halloween with them? Well, Halloween was deeply ingrained in their culture. It was a time to connect with their ancestors, ward off harmful spirits, and mark the end of the harvest season. As they settled into their new lives in America, these immigrants held on to Halloween as a way to maintain a connection to their homeland. As the Irish and Scottish established themselves in their new communities, they began to share their Halloween traditions with their neighbors. The holiday, with its mix of merriment and mysticism, soon caught on. It began to evolve from a solemn religious occasion into a community-centered holiday celebrated with parties, costumes, and treats for children. Over time, Halloween began to lose its religious connections. Instead, it became a time for communities to come together, to celebrate the season, and to have a bit of fun. Costumes became more elaborate, and the tradition of trick-or-treating was born. Children would dress up in costumes and go door to door asking for treats. This was a far cry from the somber Samhain rituals of the ancient Celts, but it held on to the essence of the holiday, a connection to the spirit world, a celebration of the season, and a bit of mischief. By the early 20th century, Halloween had become a staple of American culture. It was a time for communities to come together, to celebrate, and to enjoy a bit of harmless fun. And while it may have lost some of its ancient mysticism, it has gained a new sense of community spirit. From a tiny ember brought by immigrants, Halloween has grown into a blazing icon of American culture. Today, Halloween has transcended its origins and become a global phenomenon. What was once a Celtic harvest festival has grown into an international celebration of all things spooky and fun. From the bustling streets of New York City to the quiet neighborhoods of Tokyo, the spirit of Halloween is felt all around the world, with millions of people participating in the festivities. In the United States, with its rich history of immigration and cultural fusion, Halloween is celebrated with a unique fervor. Children dress up in costumes ranging from the adorable to the terrifying, and embark on the much-anticipated ritual of trick-or-treating, visiting houses in their neighborhood to collect candy. Adults, too, join the fun, throwing elaborate Halloween parties, adorning their homes with eerie decorations, and carving pumpkins into jack-o'-lanterns. But the reach of Halloween extends far beyond the borders of the United States. In Mexico, the Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos, coincides with Halloween, and families honor their deceased loved ones with vibrant altars, marigold flowers, and sugar skulls. In Japan, while trick-or-treating isn't a common practice, Halloween-themed events and parades draw crowds in the thousands, and costume parties are popular among young adults. And it's not just the festivities that have made Halloween a global phenomenon, but also the commercial aspect. Every year, millions are spent on costumes, decorations, and sweets. In fact, Halloween is one of the biggest commercial holidays, with businesses both large and small capitalizing on the season to boost sales. From its humble beginnings as a harvest festival, Halloween has evolved and adapted, absorbing elements from various cultures and traditions along the way. Today, it is a celebration of creativity, community, and yes, a little bit of the macabre. Halloween has come a long way from its ancient Celtic roots, becoming a night of fun, fright, and festivities enjoyed worldwide.